Can I ask you guys a question?
Ooh,
okay.
This is a first. Okay, yeah.
So like your job, you got to stay on like trends, right? And know what's popular and like all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What are Labubus?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is
Why
a
do people
great
care?
Why do people
That is
like
actually
them?
a great question.
I've seen them so much more.
But there's not just Labubus, there's
Labufus.
There's
What are
Lafufus,
those?
which
And
are
there's
the
a
fake
whole
ones.
game there too.
Okay, but my friend bought me one, and now I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute, and he sits in my car. But I'm pretty sure he's a Lafufu because he's missing a tooth. You can tell between the number of teeth.
Nate, you have no idea.
Where's my camera? Bring back Beanie Babies. They're an investment.
Listen.
Bring back Beanie Babies.
Welcome back to Our Herd, the Toledo Zoo's official podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Corey.
I'm Caitlin.
And we've got Maddie returning behind the producer seat with us today. Thanks
She's
for being here.
back.
She's back.
She wasn't here the past few episodes. Was it because we were...
I think she just couldn't stand us and she needed a break.
That's not true. She was busy.
Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
But we're back at you today from another great episode with our Arctic keepers. How fun was that?
That was a lot of fun. We were in Arctic Encounter with the polar bears in the background. Kalik, or not Kalik and Kalu. Sorry, that's a curse word.
Everybody who follows those two bears just gasped with you because they're like, are they back?
No, they're not back.
We were
Sorry,
talking about
I
the
just
other two bears we've got.
gaslit you. Cully and Crystal made a surprise appearance in the background with their fluffy butts.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun.
If you missed that, make sure you go back and watch it. We're on 3 different platforms. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the best place to watch it is going to be YouTube because, as I just said, you can watch it instead of listening.
Watch it. Yeah, and we do surprise appearances by animals. We do surprise episodes, pop-ups, if that makes sense. Locations. There we go.
Yep.
And we had some really great comments from the last podcast episode. So we wanted to read a few of those because we really appreciate you guys. We have fantastic job, Ashley and Raven. They did do a really great job.
They did a great job. I mean, I love having all the dynamic duos on here.
Yes. Another comment we have is, yay, Raven and Ashley are the best. We miss Kalu and Kalik for sure. So do we. But we know that they are thriving and doing what's best for polar bears out in the world.
Absolutely.
And lastly, we have, glad I found this podcast. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Please,
And thank you.
please watch and listen.
Please keep listening.
I'm hungry.
We need food on our plates. Speaking of friends and fans and people who are commenting, we recently had a zoo-wide event called Wild About Art, and we were out and we had set up a booth where we were selling a lot of our photo prints that were taken of our animals here at the zoo. And I could not even count the number of people that had come up and said, oh my gosh, you guys are the guys from the podcast.
Yeah. Or they said they recognized our voices. I said,
That was weird. That was weird.
yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I recognize your voice. I'm like, my voice?
My voice? Am I famous? No, but that was a lot of fun, like hearing firsthand from people that they enjoy our podcast, that they're avid listeners, and they're like, when's the next episode? So
Here
hopefully
it is.
y'all are watching. Thank
Y'all
you.
are watching. Thank you all so much. We really do appreciate your returning viewership, and we'll continue putting out some really good stuff for you to listen to. All right. So we have been waiting a long time for this episode because I guess you could say we've been waiting for these guests to kind of break out of their shell a little bit, if you could say.
I see what you did there.
Okay. So we're so happy to introduce Cynthia and Nate from our bird department. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're so excited to talk to you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
Happy
a
to be
good
here.
time. We'll try to make it as painless as possible to chat for a little bit until you got to go back to what you're doing.
They are another dynamic duo here at the zoo.
The best one.
You guys are mom and mommy, correct? That's what you call yourselves?
Always. Yeah. Well, seasonally, I guess.
Yeah. Mommy,
more so.
mom.
Mommy and mom, don't get them confused.
Yeah.
Mother of birds.
Mhm.
Like we have Mother of Dragons with Sam from Herbs. You guys are the Mother of Birds.
Mm.
And I think that fits. And we'll get into that later. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, who are you? What do you do? How'd you get here?
My name is Cynthia, and I am a bird keeper. I have been a bird keeper here at the zoo for a little over 7 years full time. I started as an intern here in 2015. I worked in Pittsburgh as an intern, did a couple bird internships there, and then got hired here as an intern, and I never left. When I got hired full time in 2018, I started working at the Avian Breeding Center, and I have been there ever since.
Yeah, I'm Nate.
Hi, Nate.
Hi. So just to back up a little bit, as like I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So which is where I grew up going to the National Aviary. It was really close to where I grew up. Got exposed to birds a lot as a kid. Went to college, you know, an aimless college student that I was, didn't really know what I wanted to do with that. I got my degree in zoology. Upon graduating, I got an internship at the National Aviary. So I was there for a couple months, learned a lot, learned that I really liked working with birds. I interned at the Tampa Zoo in their elephant department.
Whoa.
The thing that I learned about that was I'm more of a bird keeper than an elephant keeper.
I was going to say big birds.
Yeah.
Big
I was like, I didn't know. I don't know. I was
Their
like,
poops are big.
yes. And then interned at the Alaska Sea Life Center. So I was in Alaska for a summer, which was really fun. I got a job, my first full-time job at the Houston Zoo in Houston, Texas. I was there for almost 8 years.
Beyonce.
And there's a really big mall in Houston called the Galleria. And when I first got there, they were hosting the NBA All-Star game. It was like February of 2013. And Beyonce was there and she went to the mall and they had to close the mall. And it was the worst traffic I had just moved there. And it's like sitting in traffic for legitimately 5 hours.
Because of Beyonce?
Because of Beyonce. Then I came up here. I've been here October. I'll be here for 5 years. Oh, yeah.
Amazing. It's been great having both of you here.
Yeah.
When it comes to birds, Caitlin, you have it written down as birds getting a bad rep. I just don't know if birds get enough attention.
That's true, but I also know many people who are terrified of birds. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people are like either scared of birds or they see the aviary and they're like, skip?
Yeah. So if you're like talking like people that are scared of birds, like, I don't know, my friends, loved ones, every single person that's ever given me a haircut. When I ask what I do and I say I work at the zoo and they go, oh, that's cool. What do you do there? I was like, I work with the birds. Like, no, I don't like birds. And then a nice silent haircut for the rest of the time I'm in the chair.
Which you love.
I do. Part of it, and part of the reason that I like birds is that they are everywhere. So you're just like seeing birds all day long. Some people just don't appreciate that maybe. But like you'll see a wild bird like literally every day. Whoa, what is it, a pigeon or a robin or whatever, but they're still out there. They fly. People disconcerted about that.
I don't think they like the flying. I think people think if they're in an aviary where birds are free flight that they're going to fly at their head.
Oh.
And then they get
That's only
freaked out
happened
by
to me
that.
once.
I was going to say, how often is that actually happening?
Rare. And like really only if there's a reason to.
It's
like,
dodging.
I think that anybody that says that they don't like birds just hasn't seen enough birds. There's so many birds out there. There's thousands of them. You can find one bird that you like.
Yeah.
Unless if you have a medical phobia, I suppose.
Yeah. A cute small one,
Everyone
a
always
colorful
thinks
one.
of seagulls stealing ice cream cones at the beach. I think that's what everybody is worried about. But
That's my childhood trauma.
and I think people don't like realize that. Some people don't like realize like penguins are birds. They're like we get that asked a lot. Like when the penguin tours come up, I was like, these are birds, right? And I was like, yeah.
What?
It's like, yeah.
You get that question?
Because they don't fly. And it doesn't look like they have feathers because their feathers are so teeny tiny. But yeah, it's like bird feathers, bipedal, beak.
What'd you say?
Bipedal.
What's that mean?
Walks on 2 legs. So other than humans,
Oh.
birds are I believe, the only bipedal animals. Kangaroos maybe, but they kind of.
Okay. Bipedal.
Guess I didn't think about it
They
that
use all
much.
4 sometimes. Birds don't. And lays eggs. Those are your kind of your bird traits, right?
You guys are also one of our great dynamic duos.
One of the best ones, I think.
Yeah.
We're going to have to start a competition.
We're impartial,
because
but-
we're getting so many dynamic duos on here.
Can any of those other dynamic duos raise as many flamingo chicks as we have?
Or doves or
ducks
pheasants
or
doves.
yeah.
Maybe
Or-
like 8 flamingo chicks. Do you think that correlates to like 1 baby elephant or no?
No. How often are they hand feeding that baby elephant?
Oh.
0? Okay, then 1 flamingo chick is more worth than 1 baby elephant.
Dang.
Wow.
Speaking of
Shots fired.
elephants, so you said that you worked with elephants, and a common theme within the people that we've been speaking to say that they wanted to work with a specific animal when they first got into the field, and then they are now working with something completely different. Did you guys want to work with something else before you got to birds?
Or even zoology.
Yeah.
Yes. I did. I did an internship in Pittsburgh and I worked in the aquarium. I loved it. And I was like, let me try to do more. And so when I applied for internships here, I originally wanted to work with mammals and I applied for a small and then I applied for birds. Did not get the mammal one, got the bird one. And I'm so happy I got the bird one because I don't think I was meant to work with mammals. I always thought I love cats. I always thought I would want to do big cats. I don't like animals that can kill me. So after I started working as an intern in this bird department, I was like, all right, this is where I want to be. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to do baby birds. I like this. I like this area. But yeah, I always thought it was going to be cats or like large mammals, and then got to birds and I loved them.
Yeah, I started considering birds as something that I was interested in probably my senior year of college. I took an ornithology class and I had a really good teacher, and our labs were basically going out and going bird watching for like 4 hours every day in the spring. So like trying to figure out where I might stick in. Ultimately, it was birds.
What is it about birds? Do you like working with them so much?
There's so many different types of birds.
Yeah, there's like 10,000 species of birds.
My goodness.
Every continent.
I really believe if you can't find one single bird that you like, I mean, come on, there's 10,000 of them.
So
You
it's
can
just
find
the
one.
pure diversity of just how many
Yeah.
different types there are.
Yeah.
It's the diversity because they occupy every niche and different kind of breeding structure that you might have. You can find it in birds.
And they can fly.
And they can fly.
For
yeah.
most of them.
Alphaba herself would be.
Can you give your best Alphaba riff?
I cannot.
I also cannot.
I can leave that to Cynthia Erivo.
There we go.
Yeah,
there
there
we
we
go. Let's get into the flamingo chicks. You guys get to take care of them. They're probably my favorite bird. Might be my favorite baby animal as well.
Oh.
Because
We're winning today.
I'm just kissing up to you guys. But they are so much fun. They're so cute. They're little cotton balls on legs. And I've gotten to come around a few times this season and just cuddle with some flamingo chicks. So tell us about them. You guys take care of them. Introduce our flamingo chicks.
All right. Well, we have 9
Nine
this year.
this year. It's tied for the most that we've had.
Never been able to break that 10.
Yeah.
We're hoping maybe next year.
How many eggs did we get this year? We got a lot.
25 to 30.
Yeah.
25 to 30 eggs.
Wow.
Not all fertile.
Not all.
Oh,
for,
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
A lot of them will be infertile, and they range in age currently 35 to almost 55, I think. So
55
Days.
days.
yes.
Okay.
So not even 2 months, the oldest one.
Wow.
And they're kind of, the size is about this tall and like this tall. The youngest is like this
Yeah,
tall.
the
and then
youngest one
oldest.
this morning weighed around like 800 grams. And then
Big boy was
our biggest one, who's not our oldest one, was like 1,900 grams.
And before we get too far into it, can you explain why here at the Toledo Zoo we choose to hand rear our chicks? I know that's a lot of questions that we get of where's the mom? Where's the dad? Why are you feeding it? Why isn't mom feeding it? Why do we here at the Toledo Zoo choose to hand rear our chicks?
So it basically just comes down to that the current habitat that the adult flamingos are on is just not a great space for eggs or for chicks. So they do nest and they do build their mounds and it looks great, but there are a lot of other birds out there.
Cranes,
Yeah.
storks.
And they would definitely eat an
an
egg and they would 100% eat a chick. And we just want to be able to, if we're going to have eggs and they're going to be fertile, we want to protect them and keep them. We know that we can raise them with pretty much no issues. And if we do release them back into that flock, they will go on and be normal birds. They're not going to be like imprinted on people really. So really it's just to keep the eggs safe and then to keep the chicks safe.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So how many years have you guys been rearing flamingo chicks here at the zoo?
This is the 7th year that we've reared chicks. We did skip a year for COVID. We didn't have any chicks that year. So this
my
is the
first
Yeah,
Seven
because
would
of
have
course
been
the flamingos were
2021.
practicing, safe distancing.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
were fine, but we didn't end up having any eggs that year. So the first year that we actually got a fertile egg, it was just 1 egg out of like 12 that was fertile. I was here as a temp or a temporary keeper helping, but I wasn't like in charge of the center.
Is that bird still here?
Yep, her name is Coconut.
Coconut. Is she on
She's-
exhibit?
Yeah.
She is. She's on the big flock.
She's had some.
She has had some eggs.
Some
They've
eggs.
not
Aw.
been fertile.
Oh,
Okay.
But we have had birds that we have reared. There was a year that we had 4 and they were all named after Seinfeld
Yeah, they're Seinfeld
characters.
birds.
They have gone
was
on
my
and
idea.
produced offspring that we currently have that
That's
are hand reared
awesome.
in the education flock. So like a hand reared bird has gone out and paired up, built a nest, had an egg that was fertile, and we have raised it.
So
Oh, you guys are like proud
I know, we're
grandparents.
Wow.
Yeah,
great
yeah.
grandparents
Oh.
potentially now.
great
like-
grandparents. That's awesome. So you're saying that like, yes, they love you guys. Like I've seen these birds and they are
Need us.
they're very like they like to be around you. They like to snuggle, but they can also still do bird things.
Yes. Even the friendliest bird, Coconut was by herself, and even she integrated into the flock just fine. So I'm never worried about like loving them too much.
Yeah,
If that makes
they're like that
sense.
rare example of like instinct to be part of a flock is so strong. They recognize other flamingos immediately and kind of just integrate pretty easily.
Some birds, it's instant. It's like they go right into the flock. But there's been a couple years where a couple birds will hang out by the fence and they'll kind of make baby noises. And it kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I'm like, come on, guys, like go.
They know
And then
It's like
exactly
sending
how
your
to
kid
play
off
your
to college.
heartstrings.
within
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, within a couple days or sometimes a couple weeks, they'll like
Like other
slowly.
friends. They
Yeah,
don't
they'll slowly
really
go
need
in
us
there.
anymore.
It cannot be understated how much work you guys are putting into these guys every season. So
Yeah.
once the egg is obtained to the
Mhm.
moment that they're integrated into either one of our flocks that we have, how long are you caring for these birds every year?
When we get the egg, it'll, if all the circumstances are good and it's fertile and stuff, it'll take 28 days to hatch. And then after that, it is a lot of feeds.
Yeah.
Um,
So the first week alone is for each individual bird is 6 feeds a day.
Bird math.
But then you have to think about, we're not getting every single egg the same day. So it's not like, with your chickens are all hatching within a day or two. They're all hatching at a very big range. So then we have to start like remembering like this bird is 17 days old. This bird is 6 days old. This bird has to drop a feed today. This bird, it's like, so when you start adding in birds, it becomes like, got to remember a lot of things.
it's a lot of record keeping.
Yeah.
It's so much record keeping.
We
And
go
it's a lot
through,
of
like-
teamwork too. It seems
Yeah.
like you guys work together to feed
Yeah.
everybody.
We can, like,
writing,
anticipate
yeah, kind
what
of
each other needs.
leapfrogging each other like bird. I'll grab the other one, the next oldest one. Then she'll finish that one, grab the next oldest one. Then I'll finish that one, grab the next oldest one. We kind of work our way up the chain.
You'll do a feed, relax, not even relax because there's other birds that
Do
need to be
other
taken care
stuff.
of.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, time
I
for another
think-
feed.
I think that's kind of a common misconception is people think that all that we do is take care of the baby flamingos, but we have 200 animals
in the building.
in the building. So we have a bunch of ducks and we have pheasant chicks and we have doves that we're hand rearing. So there's more than just the flamingos happening. But then also on top of that, we have all the adult birds that we take care of. So we've got a full behind the scenes breeding flock of a bunch of different birds. And then we have the education flock of flamingos that we take care of. So the separate flamingo group and then the sloth.
It was off.
And we have a pair of tamarins. That's another thing people don't like. We do also take care of mammals, a few smattering of mammals here and there. Oh, and then we also do all the egg stuff. So any egg that is artificially incubated, we would take care of in our building. You get a lot in the beginning of this breeding season. It's like a lot of eggs and that takes up a lot of time. And then as they start hatching, it's like mostly chicks that take up all your time.
Yeah, we had a time where we had so many eggs in our incubators and you have to like handle them. And that takes forever. And then again, it's just like no taking for that because we want to track development. It's just all day.
Yeah.
Really
So
quick,
it's felt all day.
what is candling?
Yeah.
So you have your egg, right? And you want to know what's going on in it. So you can use if the egg's thin enough, you can use like any kind of flashlight. I've used my phone flashlight sometimes to do a quick check, but we have this handler and it's like this heavy duty
High-powered light.
that we have different like apertures, like different size holes to like kind of pinpoint it. And you hold the egg up and ideally you'd be able to see structures developing. You can see movement, veins, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes, well, flamingos, their shells are so thick that it's a lot more guesswork. Like we think we see something happening in here, but we can't be 100% sure.
Flamingo eggs are some of the hardest eggs.
Some
that
of the
we have to
hardest,
kill.
yeah.
But sometimes you literally just cannot see through them. So they
Yeah.
have like a
We were doing the
coating.
ostriches.
Oh, yeah.
Those are hard because they're so
Ostrich.
big. You're like,
We also weigh them.
yes.
Weight
You have
to,
to check
track
their
their
weight,
weight loss.
Because they should eggs should lose weight as they develop because the embryo inside is consuming like the yolk and they're like the liquid parts are kind of compacting. There's more air in the egg.
There's days where it takes us like an hour and a half to candle eggs alone. If
Wow.
we have all our incubators running, it's like, I think at the most we've ever had was like 200 plus eggs.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness. What if
Wow.
you just
Yeah.
came in one day and it's just cheap, cheap, cheap? Like,
Well, that's a
all
problem.
day?
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
So the thing
It's
with
dangerous.
the thing with eggs is, or for bird eggs, is they have to be turned. So all of our incubators have rotating floors. So
Mm.
and we can't have chicks
Yeah.
They
getting like
just
thrown back and forth.
Yeah.
So how do you know, like for a flamingo egg, for example, how do you know when to take it out of the incubator and put it into the hatch tank?
the hatcher.
The hatcher.
hatcher.
Perfect.
You're
Close
really
enough.
close.
I like
Really
this
close.
You're like, she's got
terminology.
it.
I thought you were going to get it. So when an egg is getting ready to hatch, there's a process called the drawing down where the air cell of the egg. So if you imagine an egg, there's like a bunch of dark spots you can't really see, especially later in development. And then the the part where the air cell is you can pretty much see through that. It'll start to draw down, so it'll get bigger.
You know, you like ever eat like a hard boiled egg and it's
Yeah,
like
there
flat
you go.
on the one end.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is like a pocket of air inside the shell.
Okay.
So that'll
that's
start
why-
to get bigger. So
Okay.
we'll sometimes mark it if we're like, especially if there's an egg where we're like, we can't tell if this egg is drawing down. We'll mark the shell with a pencil.
So the next time we look at it,
If it's further
down,
we're
we
like-
know that it's
where something's going on here.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And then usually an egg, you'll catch it when it internally pips. So the bird embryo will break into, with its bill, the air cell of the egg. And that's when you can like physically hear stuff. A lot
that's
of
the first time
times.
that they start breathing.
That's
air.
so cool.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're just like, you're holding an egg and you're like, cheep, 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 and it cheep, cheeps
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we'll literally be able to hear them and then we'll put them in the hatcher. So then we're like, all right, they're pretty close to hatch. And by this point, they're either 26 days or 27 days
Kind
incubated.
of time it out since we know how long it takes. We can kind of judge like normally what we do like 4-ish days
We'll start-
before we'll
yeah.
start to like candle because we normally just candle eggs every other day,
Mhm.
but coming in like 5 days out, 4 days out, every day. We're gonna look at it.
And you'll start to see the change, especially if you're seeing them every day, you'll see the change. And then we'll put them in the hatcher and they'll have their own little bowl. Within 24 hours, hopefully, they'll externally pip. So that's when the bill actually like punctures the shell and you can like physically see the bill and then you can really hear them.
Yeah.
And they'll make a lot of noise. So like, especially the flamingos. The bigger the egg or the bigger the species, typically the more noise.
And the
they
longer
kinda
it
make.
takes to hatch, like sometimes like we've done little like star lanes and
Oh my God,
stuff, and
those
all
are
of a
so
sudden
fast.
it's just like you see them. It's like, okay, they're close. And it almost feels like you turn and you turn back and they're out.
Yeah. It's quick. It's like if you've got like a really short incubation time, it can
Yeah.
be, you have to be really careful about not letting it, because very small. You don't
Yeah.
want them to be in the incubators when they hatch. So a lot of times we'll put them on little plates.
Yeah, it's just like a
Just
Like
like
a dinner plate.
Yeah, like a little tiny plate in the incubator so they can't get out of the plate, but if they
Oh.
move, the plate's moving, so they're not going to get stuck
Gotcha.
anyway.
But ideally, that doesn't happen. Ideally, they go to
Yeah.
the hatcher, which the hatcher, we keep at a higher humidity so that internal membrane
Doesn't do
stays
that,
nice
yeah.
and loose and doesn't dry and like get like plastered to them.
That's the other thing is that when these birds hatch out, these birds can be tiny, the ones that you're working with, and super fragile,
I'd say
right?
the smallest I've ever hand reared was the size of the tip of my pinky. Yeah, it was
Wow.
very small.
And you can hand rear that.
We have, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my
It's-
gosh. It
how
is
in the world,
small.
like,
I'm looking at
I have so many questions. How in the world do you feed that? How in the world, like, do you
Yeah.
pick it up without crushing it?
So you just,
That's
it's like a little piece of sushi. You just kind of
you
with
wanna.
to- with-
It's like
no, not with
I'm-
tongs, with your fingers.
Yeah, it's like I think of it as like picking up like a baby bird as like a claw game.
Yeah,
You want to
there you
come
go.
over the top and you want to kind of like scoop them up and
Oh
then you
my-
put them out.
Oh my
Smallest bird
goodness.
I ever raised was this is in Houston, was a fairy blue bird.
Oof,
And I
that's-
believe is like 1.5 grams.
My-
hatched out.
I'd have to
Wow.
look
Like
back, but it was like the size of my fingernail on my pinky. It was so
That's
small.
crazy.
See, and like that is completely fascinating that you guys are able to work with these animals every day to get them from that size and
To
that
normal size.
fragility
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
a full grown adult.
So those little ones, they go fast though, which is nice because it's like they should be. And again, we calculate all this stuff out. These birds in general, ideally, we'll have them gaining about 10% of their body weight every single day. So it goes pretty fast.
Yeah.
With the flamingo chicks, once they, have pipped, they're out of the egg, you take them out of the hatcher, you band them, put them in their little, what's the next, I know it, it's not a brew. Is it a brewster,
close.
brewmate, brew?
Oh, it's so
Yes.
close.
Oh, you're so close.
Oh,
It's a brooder.
brooder,
Brooder.
schnizzle. The brooder. Okay, I'm getting better. You put them in the brooder and they're under the little sun lamp and then you just
Mhm.
wait until the feed. And
So a bird like that size probably won't get fed for about 24 hours after it hatches. So when they hatch, they absorb all that yolk, or the yolk gets internalized, but it's not completely absorbed yet. So we want to wait for that to be fully metabolized. So if you start feeding them too early, they'll start metabolizing the food and not the yolk, and then the yolk can go bad internally inside.
And it can
the
cause an
chick.
infection.
It can cause an
Ew.
infection. And so for different sizes of birds, it takes different amounts of time. So like the really little ones, 8 hours, 12 hours,
Mhm.
sometimes like that. Ostrich, 5 days.
Yeah.
My
Sometimes you
goodness.
have to start feeding them until like 3 to 5 days after they hatch.
Wow. And then since they grow so fast, the fun part comes when it's playtime.
Yes.
Yes.
I love flammingo playtime.
That's
Tell
always
us
everybody's
about,
favorite thing.
Yeah.
like, you're literally like, oh yeah, playtime's at noon.
Yeah.
I'm like, So is this a
It kind of
little
moves
daycare?
when we have time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're like,
But why are you doing playtimes?
They need to exercise
Yeah.
those legs.
they're
So
they're leggy birds.
their
So
legs
they
are
gotta-
so important.
Yeah.
And if you just kind of let them not really get strong, then that will be really bad for them in the future. So we try, once they're about a week old, we take them out and we exercise them inside. We'll put like carpets down, literally a piece of carpet, and we'll just sit with them and we'll let them walk around. When there's only like one or two birds, it's like, oh, it's so cute.
Yeah,
Oh my
like
gosh.
look at them.
But then when
it's
you
like,
get all 9 of them,
Yeah, just fight.
it's like,
Like,
you're just
another-
like separating fights
another
constantly.
thing about the flamingo chicks is like they only lay one egg, so flamingos are inherently only children. They don't know how to get along with each other. It takes forever, so we have to keep them all separated for a certain amount of time when they're like younger. So when they're all in individual brooders, we bring them out to start exercising. They immediately start fighting.
Yeah.
It's
So like
hilarious.
picking up
You're like,
them and moving them away from each
Move
other.
them around.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we've gotten to the point now where they all live together.
Yes.
In one big space. So in the wild, they would form what's called a creche, which is like the big flock of flamingos, and then internally inside the big flock, all the young ones kind of hang out together. And so they get to a point where they don't necessarily need to be with mom and dad all day, and that's when they start to be able to mingle around a little bit without causing the most amount of problems of
Which
any
is
bird that we have.
Current stage that we're at. So all of the
And
birds
it's so fun.
live in the same enclosure, and it's a very big space, and they all kind of intermingle, and we can sometimes see a little fight here and there.
Flamingos
But
are always bickering.
Yeah,
I've never
always.
had
They
like
fight
seen
so
more
much.
bickering species of animals, but it's never anything bad because
they can't
again,
really
they
do
can't
anything.
do anything to each other. But it's a lot of like shaking their heads at each other
Yeah.
and pulling out little fluffy feathers.
I feel like this clutch is very like social with humans. They love to be around. Like I'll go in there, I'll sit down, and one's in my lap. And then if another bird comes up to me, he's like pecking at him. He's like, no, this is my friend. I'm like, I have enough love to go around.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then there's also like they all have different personalities. So you'll get those birds, and then you'll get the ones that are like super independent and just want to be by themselves. And then there's always the instigator. That's a little bully. So with this group, do you have any favorites so far, or like any fun?
personalities
Yeah, any
that
fun
have stood out?
personalities.
On 3, who's your favorite?
Who's
1.
my favorite.
1, 2, 3.
Red.
Yeah, right.
I
I was like,
He's-
red or pink are both. They're very close in age, and they're both very fun. Red is, I will say, the negative about red is red does not want to stay on the scale at
Yes,
all,
ever. Which is annoying, especially when you're trying to like get everybody fed and you're trying to do it in a certain amount of time, and you're like, can you please stop?
Stay
moving?
still.
Stay still.
Stay still.
He's also the most gray out of all of them, so he's like easily identifiable from afar.
They're starting to get pink. I don't know if
yeah.
you guys seen some of the older ones are starting to get pink.
And those aren't their actual names. That's just the color of their
color.
band.
Color,
Band.
yeah.
So-
we haven't
For
named
now,
them yet.
until they get actual names.
Until they get their
We
official
just call
name.
them by the color of their band until they get their official name.
Really quick, going back to something I had mentioned a while ago was the amount of time that you guys are caring for these birds. So they start hatching out in like what, June is what
We're
I
on the
remember?
4th of July, typically.
Oh, 4th
we
of
almost
July.
always have like a 4th of July baby.
Yeah, it's like they start nesting in May. We start getting eggs in June, and they start hatching in July.
Okay.
It's a
and
very
then
quick
at
process.
what point do they start fledging off from you guys? What point do you say, okay, go
So
be with the others?
When they stop being fed by us is typically around day 57. That's not always like a hard and fast rule. There are some birds that need a little longer. We've had some go to like almost like 67,
Yeah, 'cause
77
we'll still
days.
weigh them even after we fin for a couple days, and if the weights aren't what we want to be seeing,
We'll feed
we'll
'em.
kind of tie food back.
We don't
and
ever
forth.
want a bird to like be cut off and like
Mhm.
if it's not
Yeah.
doing well,
Yeah.
we want to make sure that
I was
we
just trying to get a
continue.
good idea of like how much of the year this takes from you
I
guys.
think
so
we've moved birds to the big flock in the past in like
Mid-October.
October.
It's
Yeah.
like from start to finish, from the first egg hatching to the last chick being done getting fed, and then the birds either leaving our building or going out with the big flock. It's about 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
It's a big range
Mhm.
depending on how big of the age range, which this year we have a pretty big age range. So
Yeah.
it might be closer to that 4-month time, but it does like ease up a little bit. And then like right now we don't have as many eggs because we're kind of getting out of breeding season. So we spend more time in the beginning with eggs and feeding,
yeah.
and then not as much cleaning. And then as they get older, they're getting less food, but it takes a lot longer to clean them every day. So it kind of like balances out eventually.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
So are these guys going to eventually be in Flamingo Key with the older birds, or are they going to stay with our friendly flock?
I would say most of these birds, and this is very subject to change, are likely going to spend more time with the big flock. So there might be one or two that we keep
pull
that are
out,
just super friendly
Yeah.
that we keep behind. Even though they're all hand reared, they all get the same experience. We feed them all the same way. Everything's the same every year. Some birds just aren't as keen on the education tours, and that's fine. We just, okay, they're not as into this as, these birds over here. We have plenty of birds that are very into it, as you guys have seen, who are waiting at the gate for us to open it and bring them out. So we try to keep only like the most friendly ones.
And you guys mentioned that we have these two different flocks. One is our one that's on exhibit, people see every day. And then the other one, you guys keep referring to it as our education flock. And that's because we do behind the scenes tours with these flamingos.
And you still can see the education flock on exhibit. They're just in a separate location.
Yes, you can view
That's
them.
true.
It's,
But yeah, so we do the tours.
It's a seasonal tour.
Yeah, in the summer.
Yeah. We kind of shut down around October.
It is the best tour in my opinion.
I agree.
It looks so fun.
I recommend it to everybody.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of fun because you get to walk into and share that space with these friendly flamingos and feed them straight from your hand, right? Like you get
from a little
and they're
cup.
all up in your business.
All
yeah.
in your business.
Oh, yeah.
So friendly.
Yeah.
And they want to be in your face constantly. Some people, I think, don't realize how in your face they get. And they're like, oh, man, like we did not expect this. And we're like, we can take them away. They don't ask. We can move them back.
And we don't make this guaranteed thing, but when you guys are also raising the younger chicks, once they get to the point where they start playing outside, sometimes you incorporate that into those tours as well, correct?
It's something that we have done it in the past. I would love to do it again because it is like, people get a choice, and we have to exercise the birds outside anyway. So it kind of was like,
makes our day a little
save us some time. You want to see the babies or the little guys? Well, we can bring them out. But
there's differences with that. That is much less interactive.
Yeah. It's more of like just sitting and watching them do their thing.
They're not really at that feeding from a cup level yet. So it's more like you just get to see them up close.
Which is so fun when you guys are exercising those little chicks outside because they start to spread their wings out a little bit. And
they're running around.
Trying to take flight.
It never stops being cute.
Yeah.
Every year it's like, you think you'd get used to it, but when there's that many running around and they're so clumsy too. Like they'll knock into each other and you had one run into your camera.
Ran into my camera. I said, ooh.
You've always got the little one in the back, like, wait for me, guys.
Yeah.
And so, like you do see their personalities. Like there are some Mr. and Miss Independents out there. Like
they're always the ones that want to eat leaves too.
Yeah. Eating leaves. It's a toddler daycare.
It really is.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful about where you're putting your feet. And they're loud.
God, they're loud.
They do not stop making noise from the moment that they hatch.
It's like, honestly, like another part of like our like teamwork stuff is that it's so loud where the flamingos are right now that you can't hear your radio. So the person not cleaning them is like, well, I'll field all the radio calls.
Oh my gosh.
I can't hear anything when I'm in that room. It's like, man, and I swear this is like the loudest group we've ever had. Like they are loud.
I was going to ask you, so do you, when you're not around them, kind of hear them in the back of your head still?
I worry that that's tinnitus.
Because I know what you're talking about. It's like a drowning sound.
Is there a flamingo in my room?
Hear flamingos?
I feel like that's more of like mid breeding season stress scream stuff.
Did I feed that one?
I was thinking that this morning. It's just like, are they going to be sitting here and like in the back of their head, they're like hearing flamingo chicks screaming at them the whole time?
You do like think about them all the time though. Like if there's one that we're like kind of worried about, or like we're worried there's a medical problem, or if we think their legs aren't straight, like you do think about that bird constantly. So it's like the first thing when I come in after my days off, I'm like, how's purple or how's red? And it's like, oh, it's great. No problems. Okay, great. But like you do think about them all the time.
They're kids. Yeah.
You worry about them.
Definitely recommend booking a behind the scenes tour with the flamingos. They're still up and available on our website. If you haven't done it yet, do it now before the season's over.
Yep. And it's not just flamingos. There's all kinds of different animals you can see in the behind the scenes tours.
Yeah. You guys take care of other birds other than flamingos. We've kind of mentioned it. And you talk about ABC, which is the Avian Breeding Center. That is your primary building. Can you tell us a little bit about this building?
Essentially, it's just a behind the scenes area. So it's very quiet. There's not like the public going through. And we keep a lot of our, more sensitive birds that you can see anywhere else. Most of the birds that we have, you can see in other places. in the zoo.
Representations of,
Yeah.
especially in the birdhouse.
Yes.
We have like, because it's a lot of like doves, finches, other small passerines we have in there.
I think, I don't think I have anything that, you can't see anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these birds they're specifically paired up for breeding behind the scenes. So ultimately we want them to do it, but if we have to step in and interfere, we can. Some birds that we have raised in the past from the building are lots of pink-necked fruit doves.
Mm-hmm.
We've done shama thrush, we've done finches. And then the other space is used for like when we are hand rearing. There's a lot of rooms, small rooms where we put duck brooders in.
We have a
and-
kitchen. We have a brooder room where we keep all the brooders. We have some larger spaces too. Like
For-
you said,
and, like,
for
different pools. So when ducklings get bigger, they can have a bigger pool and we move them into these in different enclosures. But everything is behind the scenes and we don't keep, so like the baby flamingos don't stay in, this one room. Like
Mhm.
eventually when they get too big, they move outside and move elsewhere. Same for ducklings. So like we might rear them here, but then when they get to like adult size, they get sent out to other parts of the zoo. So
Mhm.
we just reared merganser chicks, scaly-sided mergansers, and they're now outside in
cool.
the diving duck pool.
Mhm.
So
You guys are the labor and delivery.
yeah.
Yeah.
We like to
Really
say like we
are.
get them to graduation and then we're like, see you later, bye. like, and
And you
you
got a
know,
new
after
baby.
that, I don't take care of them anymore. So
Mhm.
that's what's nice about ABC is we can take care of a lot of different species throughout the years, or even in one year, we could have so many different things that we're hand rearing and take care of. Whereas like when you work in other areas, it's like it's pretty set for what you're taking care of
Mhm.
for the most part. Stuff kind of comes and goes, but we get to do a lot of different species
Mhm.
every year.
Yeah. And we have so many birds and
Mhm.
bird species here at the Toledo Zoo. Like many of our buildings that we have here are just dedicated to birds. So you got ABC, you've got the aviary, you've got the pheasantry, you've got the diving duck exhibit. You have
AVC. Is it AVC?
ACG.
ACG. Close. Too many acronyms.
ACG.
So
That's the old
That's
butterfly
the
house.
old butterfly house.
Yeah, that was my next one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was getting there.
Sorry.
ACG.
Penguins.
And then you got penguins.
Mhm.
You've got
Flamingo Key.
Flamingo Key. You've got the bald eagles.
vulture exhibits.
Oh yeah.
The vulture
Vultures?
exhibits. Yes. So there's so much of our grounds is just
Mhm.
all birds.
Birds.
Yes.
More
birds.
birds.
Greedy.
Start
It's
taking
because,
over mammal
like you guys said,
areas.
it's just the diversity of it, and they're so
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
You guys are raising so many of these different bird species, and many of which are conservation initiative tied. You guys played a big part in expanding the human-held population of pink-necked fruit doves to save them and then create an assurance population. Same thing with many-colored fruit doves. How cool is it to be able to work with those types of species and to just know that we've been able to expand their populations as much as we have?
I think it's really cool. I think especially like where there is like tangible proof that you are like making more of like a species, like you're increasing the population of a species. Whereas like, I know like a big part of like the zoo is like getting the word out about animals, inspiring people, like that kind of stuff. But it is nice to have like this, like, look at all these eggs.
Tangible thing. Mhm.
It's one of those things where like it makes it all worth it to me. Like, I mean, we may not have pink-neck fruit doves in captivity anymore if it hadn't been for what the zoo did, bringing them here and like being like, we want to be a part of this to build up this population again. It's one of the things I'm most proud of that I was involved in. There was a lot of people involved in it. So I was just like a small piece, but it like kind of makes it like, this is why I like doing this job.
The pink neck specifically, because there was only a few individuals that were here
There
when it
was-
first started, right?
I think 13.
There was
or
13
or
individuals,
14.
but now it's like
How many you got?
Oh, God, I couldn't even count,
Yeah.
there are
honestly.
so
Like,
many.
I mean, it is really like the
individuals.
Toledo Zoo really like was like, we're gonna focus on this. We're
Yeah.
gonna like get these numbers up.
I think at our highest we had like 100 and not here, but within AZA there was over 130.
Wow.
Which when you thought about 10 years before, not even, there was only 15. It was crazy. And it kind of showed that if you really dedicate a lot of time and resources to this and do this really, really well, that it can be done elsewhere. And yeah, we raised a lot of pink necks. So
Yep.
we still raise pink
We've
necks.
actually had other zoos
Yeah.
come shadow us
And
to learn how
do
to specifically doves and specifically pink necks, like raise them and learn from us.
That was the next thing I was going to start talking about is the fact that the Toledo Zoo has become kind of like the pigeon and dove professionals in the AZA community when it comes to raising some of the more difficult species of pigeon and doves. like you guys mentioned, we worked with the pink neck fruit doves. We worked with many colored fruit doves. We also have some biologists that work around the world
Blue-eyed ground
raising
dove.
and the blue-eyed ground dove. We do some amazing conservation work with those guys. And so our teams have become the professionals as to kind of advising how to care for these because of the fragility of these species, right?
And why is their conservation important? Because some people are like you said, there are birds everywhere. So why is focusing, like, for example, the pink neck fruit dove, why are they important for their environment?
Fruit eaters in general, they're seed dispersers. So like healthy birds, healthy forest, you want healthy forest, you got to have healthy animals. It's all connected.
It's not just like the big animals that people think of, like we need to protect polar bears. We obviously do. We also need to protect the little guys.
Yeah.
Little
Well,
guys.
protect the little guys too. Our director told us one year, like, I've got people telling me there's no possible way you could hatch 50 doves in a year of one species. And I'm like, hold my drink because we're about to. And that was mostly just being like really on top of like setting up pairs and having space for them and moving birds around and trying new things. So like we're way more willing to try like different different bird
That's
scenarios
a
than
real
most places.
kudos to like our bosses.
Yeah.
They really are okay with like experimenting and trying new techniques and new species and all that kind of stuff. And like we're all the more skilled for it.
Right. And I can see that you saying experimenting with our vultures as well. You guys experimented with, how to
Group
pair them
dynamics.
together.
Yeah.
Group dynamics. Right. And so we have our bachelor group, our Bachelor in Paradise group where you.
Yeah,
Or Love
it is.
Island.
Love Island,
It's
thank
more
you.
like Love
Love
Island.
Island.
There's females in there, so it's not just boys anymore.
Yeah.
Thanks,
In the beginning, it was just boys.
Yeah. So you
Like
have a
for our
Love Island
mixer.
group
Yeah.
where you're letting these birds have choices to hopefully further breeding.
And
Yeah.
it worked.
It worked. We have a
we're-
pair. Yeah.
We have a pair that
That
is
has come out of it. So
eventually going to be sent to a facility that wants to have a vulture pair. And hopefully, I hope next year, maybe the year after, they'll actually be successful with raising their own offspring.
Speaking of just species that are underappreciated, those vultures are just so cool.
Yeah.
And we have
cool.
some really good parents too, Eddie and Alice.
Yeah.
They like the
Maybe
fact
not Alice.
Alice,
Whoa.
she's kind of retired.
At least she
Her
lays
That's
the
maternal
true.
eggs.
instinct.
That's
Yeah.
true. But I want to talk about them a little bit
Yeah.
because it's fun because not only are we creating these breeding pairs within that dynamic group, but also there's been a chick or two that we've been able to foster
Yeah.
with Eddie because he's such a great dad.
Yeah.
We just
All what?
two
How was he? 34, 30 something.
in his prime
Still raising babies. Like
Yeah.
by himself, which is
by himself.
The dad that stepped
Doing
up.
a great
Yeah.
job.
The dad that
The
stepped up.
father that stepped up.
Because
yeah.
mentioning Alice, she's not really the greatest mother
No.
from
That's
what
okay.
we've
She
seen
used to be.
firsthand.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, she's like a year younger than Eddie, and they're older birds, and I don't know. It's her prerogative.
I think
Yes,
I think Eddie
not
is
everyone
just like
wants to be a mom, and that's okay.
We have a vulture named Loki. I just remember when he was born, and then like when he was born, there was a point where Alice was like, you know what, I'm just kind of done with this. And then like
Yeah.
what you said, Eddie was the dad that stepped up, and he
Yeah.
followed through with Loki. Did such a great job.
and then a couple years later we had the foster Parker, and now we have
That's a new one.
the new one. Yep.
so many birds and so many staff members too, because you guys are just two
Two out
staff
of-
members within the entire team of bird keepers that we have.
14?
14.
It's either 13 or
Oh
14.
my goodness.
Yeah.
And though we don't have those other members with us here today, another cool thing that some of your other staff members do is a lot of bird training. And
Mhm.
I assume that's very tough. I know there's some vulture training that goes on, and we recently documented some training that had happened with our cassowaries.
Yes,
How
they're
cool is
getting
that?
trained to receive injections, which I believe has worked, which does seem impossible. They're like suspicious and not the brightest.
And
So-
dangerous.
and dangerous.
And
So-
dangerous when it comes to cassowaries. That's
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's
they
the
did a really
biggest
good
thing.
job with that. So
Fortunately, we don't have to train the flamingos. Like, thank goodness.
But I think that speaks for the whole team. Like you were talking about how you guys, there's this like openness to experimenting and trying new things. Like that's just another way in which your whole
Yeah.
department is doing the same thing across the board.
Yes.
Like experimenting. Hey, what if we like train the cassowaries to accept voluntary injections
Yeah.
instead of having to dart them?
we're like building
that's-
new things too all the time in the department.
You keep yourself busy.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
definitely do.
Well, I think it's time for our Zoomies segment. Do birds get Zoomies?
Yes.
Yeah. The flamingos, like the flamingos
ostrich
definitely
definitely
do.
did.
The ostrich
The
definitely
ostrich.
did. Yeah.
Let's talk about him really quick.
Okay.
So we had an ostrich chick, Sir Denny.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Yep.
You reared him in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? He was the cutest thing.
He is so cute.
So dumb.
So dumb.
Ostrich are not smart.
Here's the thing about ostrich. We would have loved the thing about ostrich and rearing
You
ostrich.
can never have too many.
It's easier when there's more.
Okay.
So just one, they can forget how to eat.
In an
And so
hour.
they look at each other and they mirror each other's behavior. And so if we just had one, he would just like look around, not realize there's much. So we'd have to sit in there and like
And-
pretend to eat
Yeah.
the food, pretend to eat the food. And then he would like look at our hand and he'd start doing
Oh,
that.
I am ostrich.
Yeah, yes, I am hungry. Thank you. I read one paper that was like ostriches need grit for digestion. They need little stones that you feed them.
Little pebbles.
And then the
Nice
other paper
one.
I read said, under no circumstances do you give these ostriches any grit
Yeah.
at all.
So then you're like,
well, I don't know what to do.
I'll give him a little.
Yeah. It's like- another thing about ostriches that I do want to point out is like when they hatch, so they hatch a little bit differently than other birds. So most birds have an egg tooth. So it's a little calcified bump on the tip of their beak that they use to kind of like perforate the top of the egg, the cap, and then pop it out. Ostriches don't have that. So they just kind of like karate kick their way out. Just it's like busting a window
It's like
pane
the Kool-Aid
out.
Man.
Yeah.
you literally, and you just come in and the shell is just destroyed.
Just like
and then
big
there's a
chunks
chick.
of shell that are like all over the inside of the incubator or the inside of the hatcher.
So in summary, yes, birds do get
I
zoomies,
think so. Yeah.
Yes.
especially ostriches.
Especially ostriches when they spin around in circles. Next Zoomy question. Are birds real? And do you have to upload their SIM card to the web? Or is that like
I
an
don't-
automatic thing?
I mean, for our protection, I don't know if we're allowed to answer
Yeah.
that question.
Yikes.
So next cut.
Cut the cameras.
There's like a lot of like people that are like, well, like I see doves, like mourning doves, but I've never seen a baby mourning dove. And I'm like, well, I can tell
Would
you
you
that
like to see one?
I've seen baby doves. I could tell you that they exist.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like, I feel like that's where that's like started from. It's like, I've never seen that, like a baby bird. And it's like, well, probably because they don't want to be seen.
Yeah,
Like they'll
yeah.
stay in the nest.
Okay, next. Do you think getting pooped on by birds is actually good luck?
No.
Where
did you get that from?
If
I have
it
got
happens
pooped on.
so much that I should have won
Yeah,
the lottery
we
a
both
couple
should've.
of times
Okay.
by now.
Because like I've gotten pooped on by birds, and apparently people are like, "Oh, that's good luck." I'm like, "No, now I just
I
have
feel
bird crap on me."
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
I've never had anybody tell me that that's supposed to be good luck.
Really? So someone just
No.
tried to gaslight me
Yeah.
into being like, "Oh, don't worry
Maybe.
about it."
Maybe they were just trying to make you feel better.
It's a
Okay.
big part of our lives,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Last Zoomies. Why do you take photos of bird feet, and how many bird foot photos do you have in your camera roll?
In terms of feet, it's really the flamingos that we take pictures of their feet because they can be more susceptible to feet problems than other birds.
We try to keep track of
Yeah,
it,
keep track of
especially
it.
like since they're a bird that will be moved inside in the winter. So we want to make sure that the substrate that we give them in the winter is appropriate, and you can normally tell by the health of the bottom of the foot.
And when you're looking
How's-
at, 13 birds, 2 feet each bird, you're just like, eventually you kind of start to lose track of which. So we do take pictures and keep them on a
You got
file
feet
folder.
pics.
Yeah, we got feet pics, but none on my phone, fortunately. I do upload them
Email
and
those
delete them.
off.
Yeah. But you probably had more than I did because you always take the pictures.
I do. But then
And
I
then
send
email
them
that to me.
Just emailing each
Yeah.
other.
And
Flamingo
it'll
foot
literally,
photos.
what is it? We call it Flamingo Feet Finder or something like that.
Yeah, what was the platform
No, it
that
was
you-
only
Flams.
Only
That's it,
Flams.
Only Flams.
We've got enough where we could
Yeah.
probably start a platform on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we can make some money. All right. Those are all my Zoomies questions. We're going to take it over to Maddie for questions from our viewers.
Yes. So we asked on Instagram if anybody had questions for you. We actually have a lot of questions wondering about how the flamingos turn pink, when they start to turn pink. Somebody asked if you give them carrot juice to turn them pink.
No.
So maybe
That
give
would
us
be
a little
nice.
look into how that process goes.
Right. So they get pink from the food that they eat in the wild. They're eating a lot of little crustaceans. There's a compound in the shell called carotenoid. As they metabolize the stuff that they're eating, the carotenoid gets deposited in the feather. It's just a random kind of occurrence. It takes about 3 years to get fully pink. and it's only pink. It's like we fed them green stuff, they wouldn't turn green. We fed them blue stuff, they wouldn't turn blue.
Oh, so we can't have blue flamingos.
Nope.
Dang it.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. We'll start noticing it.
A month.
Yeah, about their first month, and it's
You can
like
already see it on the
it
sides
starts
of
on
their
their
face,
temples.
Yeah.
And then kind of we'll see it when their wing feathers start to grow in.
It's
We'll start
under
to
their
see it
wings,
there.
yeah.
Especially underneath, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
where you can't physically see it when they're
Their
tucked in.
pits.
But yeah, and
And
by
then-
the time they're either moving out, they're full gray, but you can see pink coming in on their feathers, like
Mhm.
actually visually see it. And then by a year old, it's like they're like 100% pink, but they're not vibrant.
It's not
like
as vibrant.
the
They kind of
parents.
just look a little.
There's a whole range
crusty.
with the species of flamingos too. Like our flock are Caribbean or American. Either name is fine. And they're the pinkest. They're like, if you close your eyes and you imagine a flamingo, that's what you're thinking of. So like the example is like the Chilean flamingo from South America, they're the least pink. They're mostly white with a little bit of a pink hue. And then they have like a good amount of pink on the wings, but that's really it.
Mm.
Where these guys, like some of the ones out on like the flamingo key flock almost look like orange. They're
Yeah.
yeah,
so pink.
corally orange. Yeah.
Wow. And so why is it that they're not born pink again?
Because they have to eat the food has to metabolize into their
Duh,
feathers.
Corey.
Yeah.
So it takes some time. So
I'm
everybody,
just saying
that is
because
a big
that's
question.
just the first question we get is like
Yeah.
when
Why
they
are they
when they
white?
hatch,
Why
they're
are
just
they
white little
gray?
cotton balls. They're
Yeah.
like, why are they pink?
Because
Also,
it's
cotton
100%
balls.
like what they're eating. And we do get a pellet, a flamingo chow that has that
Flamingo chow.
shrimp or crustaceans.
And you kind of can tell which chicks are kind of starting to eat a lot more because they'll turn pink quicker than the others. So they'll start to see that accumulate and you'll see more pink on that bird. And you'll especially see it on the face. It's like, oh, that's a little light pink right there. That
The
bird's
stuff that
definitely
we're
eating.
syringe feeding them does not have that in it.
Yeah.
So it is
Okay.
like, it is capelin, so like a fish, hard-boiled egg yolk, freeze-dried shrimp, but no shells.
Yeah, no shells. Yeah.
And then some puff baby rice cereal.
Yeah. Like what
that-
you like people actually like I fed this to my
Yeah.
kid.
Protein packed, good for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lots of minerals.
Delicious.
Lots of
You can feed it
minerals.
to your human babies. You can feed it to flamingos.
Nice.
Next question. What is the tape on some of their legs?
So we had a couple birds that had either an injury or a developmental issue where their legs were starting to bow, and it was just a corrective measure for that. So,
And the two, if the question is about the two that were on the flock for most of the last year that don't have it anymore, we wanted them to have their legs wrapped until they were like basically full grown. So every few days we would change the tape, and they had it was like a long metal
Brace.
a brace kind of wrapped in foam. So it wasn't like metal touching their leg, that we would go out and then put that just to help stabilize it.
they grew out of it and
Yeah.
they're good now.
Yeah, we had a bird that was like a little like pigeon toed and looks a lot better. And then there was one that was like slightly crooked. So just to combat that and make sure that we were keeping them healthy, we wrapped their legs. So yeah, flamingo leg wraps is what we call them.
Kind of like if a human has like when you're growing up and if you have like a curvature in your
Scoliosis.
Kind
your
of,
skull,
yeah, like
you'll get like
so-
a back brace. So like for them, they get leg braces.
So sometimes
Forrest
it's
Gump
like,
and his
Forrest Gump,
little-
yeah, sometimes it's more of like a preventative. Like it may just be the slightest thing that we don't want to get further.
What is the smell that is so noticeable when you walk by Flamingo Key?
Okay, that's the breeder pellet. 100%.
It's the breeder pellet mixed it in with like, especially after it rains, like gets all muddy out
Yeah.
there, mixed with poop, mixed with
Other bird smells.
other bird smells. Like the stork diet is
It's
like
fish in it
rat,
and meat.
fish, and meat. So
It's a lot of smells.
cornucopia of smells.
All bacon in the sun.
That
One of the things that we hear people say the most often during tours is, I would love to have a flamingo as a pet. And we know that that would be a terrible idea. Like, you have carpet in your home? Terrible idea. But they just, I mean, they're animals. They poop a lot. They make messes.
And
they-
flamingos projectile
It
poop.
is
Yes.
Get it away.
crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so
Get it out
not
of there.
not great. You know, you can't train them to go outside.
Well, thank you guys so much for
We all
being
done?
on this podcast with us.
She says, "Are we all done?
Are we
Are we
done?
done
Like,
yet?
that seemed like so
Painless.
short. Yeah.
I know it happened. The conversation flows so quickly, and I always feel as though there's not enough time to talk about everything that we want to talk about. So that just means you guys will have to come back.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question? real quick?
Ooh,
Okay.
this is a first. Okay, yeah.
And you can cut this if you want to,
No.
and it might not be relevant. So like your job, you got to stay on like trends, right? And know what's popular and like all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What are Labubus?
Yeah.
Why
Oh my
are they?
God.
That
Why are
is
they
a great
popular?
Why do people
question.
That is
like
actually
them?
a great question.
We're
Those
too- we're
ugly
way
little
too
dolls, like those ugly little dolls.
I think we should keep this in because
Since
you're
you
right.
brought this
like,
up, I've seen them so much more.
But there's not
I
just
don't
Labubus,
get
there's
it.
Lafufus.
there's
What are
Lafufus,
those?
which
I
are
And there's a
fake
whole
ones.
game there too.
Okay. Yes. We have to stay on trends. We have to stay. I'm chronically
what's pop.
online to be keeping up with these TikTok trends.
Mm.
Labubus are these, I'm pretty sure it's like Pop Mart. It's like this foreign, it's usually like K-pop culture, Korean culture. They
Okay,
create these
okay.
tiny, freaky little dolls, almost like, Squishmallows. Like last year, Squishmallows were the thing.
Yeah.
Now it's Labubus.
But these all look like
They're scary.
If the kid from Where the Wild Things
Yes.
is a Bratz doll.
Yes. Now, I guess being creepy is also kind of cute. So people find them very
Okay.
popular. I was like, this is dumb. I don't need a little boo-boo. My brain, I'm getting smarter. Like, you don't need to buy that. But my friend bought me one. And now I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute. And he sits in my car. But I'm pretty sure he's a Lafufu because he's missing a tooth. You can tell between the number of teeth.
Nate, you have no idea.
Where's my camera? Bring back Beanie Babies. They're an investment.
Listen,
Bring back
I had
Beanie
to sit
Babies.
here and ask them what in the world they were doing because they had to check. There are verification websites that are set up as they're trying to
So crazy.
verify
That was our
if they
graphic
have
designer.
a Labubu
So crazy.
or if it's a Lafufu.
So is the Lafufu like the fake version?
That's the
The
fake
fake
one.
version.
So, and like kids will
But
throw
people like the
tantrums in-
Lafufus.
No, kids will be throwing
Oh,
tantrums on
so they don't
TikTok.
like the
They're like, the mom's like, I got you a Labubu. This is Lafufu. And they throw
Yikes.
it.
Wow.
That's perfect.
It's
Okay, I'm gonna.
For
Hopefully,
me,
this
I'm
trend
like-
is done by the time I have to
I'm
do
living
this.
outside of this, but I'm witnessing the conversation. And I'm like, you guys are putting this, like, they'll get it and they'll put it on like really expensive purses. Or
Yeah, like I said, our
it's to
graphic
accent
designer
really
has like a
expensive
Coach
things.
purse, and she brings in her purse, and she's got her little Labubu on it, and she's isn't he cute? I'm like, oh,
No,
And her
I've
frontal
seen- I've
lobe's
seen
just
some in
developed.
cars.
Yeah, I've seen some in cars.
Yeah,
I've seen the
cars.
off one and then
Mhm.
like what?
Maybe
It's
this is
weird.
our time to reach out to that company and get like an official like
Sponsor, ad.
themed.
Labubu.
I know it didn't
Labubu
sound like I like
sponsor
them, but
us. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a flamingo
But you're
Labubu.
right. We have to stay on trend. Unfortunately, I kind of saw the Labubu trend, and I was like, I don't think that'll fit in with the zoo's
Okay.
mission,
cool.
so I haven't
Toys.
brought it to our TikTok page
But
yet.
thank you for
Yeah.
asking.
But thank you.
That was a lot of
I
fun.
was like, I'm gonna ask because I know that they have to know stuff about what's online, and I don't get it at
Yeah.
all.
I get those questions a lot. Like, you're chronically online. What does this mean?
I do like that there's a fake one. Lafufu.
Yeah, I think that's
I think that's
cool.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Get yours, Lafufu
Yeah.
camera.
Camera. Oh, goodness. Well,
oh man. Well, with
that-
that,
we want to say thank you so much for being on the podcast. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day, breaking out of your shell to come, and to say thank you. We have created your very own episode poster. If you see on the walls behind us, we finally hung up the rest of them, and that took us a minute.
our past victims.
How many creative service members does it take to hang some posters?
It was exactly
I
3.
was.
was
Did you
exactly-
hang that because we were going to be talking about flamingos?
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was going to ask that, and I thought, oh, I'm sure like they were practicing on that printer. So
Mhm.
Oh no,
I just
we hung
figured
it
that
for you guys.
Oh,
Yep.
But you
Thank
guys
for
are going to be
this.
added to our wall of fame. So here's Nate's.
You know what? I
Here's-
haven't
Oh
even
my
seen this
God.
myself.
So funny.
So for
Oh,
some explanation,
no.
Cynthia and Nate, they call themselves Mom and Mommy. I've heard
Queen
from
Mother.
Nate that you are Queen Mother
Yeah,
and
the
Queen
Queen Mother.
Mommy. So
The King Mother.
King,
Oh, well,
but
whatever.
you are-
Let's keep it.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
you said Queen Mother before, so
No, all right.
I'm rolling with it. Anyway, so Cynthia's Queen Mommy of Flamingos. She's got a little scepter with a diamond bedazzled flamingo and a little flamingo chick on her shoulder.
Yep. And then Nate, you are Queen Mother of flamingos.
Oh
and you've
my
got one of the
God.
little
Don't get
guys
twisted.
just like chilling out on your shoulder.
Oh,
there.
He's got a scepter
Yeah,
too, right?
I like the
Yeah,
little.
and you do have a scepter. Everybody gets a scepter now. I don't know what's with that, but it's all
I don't know.
bedazzled.
I don't know.
And it's looking pretty fancy.
Yeah. So in the episode, pretty in pink.
Yes.
I
Of course.
wore my pink shirt today.
I know.
I
Noticed.
I wore my
Showed it. Yeah.
flamingo earrings today.
I don't know. That's a little purplish, but close enough.
It's a little
It
purplish.
actually, the pink light kind of makes
I'm
We'll
it.
glad
change
that
it
I
in
didn't
post.
bring my button up because it looks
We
exactly
would have
like
been
your shirt.
matching?
Yeah, we
Oh,
would have been
cute.
matching.
All right. So we're going to have you guys sign these for us
Oh.
to add them to our wall of fame.
course.
Yep. Yep.
But
There you
again, thank you so much for being here, taking time out of your busy schedules. Some special events coming up here at the Toledo Zoo. We have Zoom Glow Roll September 28th. This is a 8-mile bike ride throughout the zoo and throughout other parts of Toledo, where you can come with your bikes, deck them out in glow sticks and all that fun stuff. And then this is a preview night to our Harvest Fest. So grounds is going to be beautiful as ever. We also have Senior Discovery Days, where seniors can take advantage of free admission and activities every Wednesday. This is a really fun event for our seniors. We also have our Senior Safari on one of those days where there's going to be tons of activities. There's coffee and muffins in our North Star Cafe.
And that's free admission, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a great time. Tons of people come out for that one. And Jen, our events manager, does such a good job hosting
Fabulous job. Shout out to Jen. We also have Enrichment Day, September 13th. This is a full day of enrichment for our animals. And this year we're doing it a little bit differently. We're going to be giving a more educational background to what enrichment is, give you a look into our animal behavior team in the main plaza. They're going to have some tables set up, kind of just explaining why enrichment is so important, what our team does for training. We also have Sip Sip Hooray, which is a wine fest, September 26th. This is also a preview night for Harvest Fest. So come out to the zoo. Hopefully, with the weather we're having right now, I am in love with it right now. Like the heat has gone away for good, I hope, but it's like a nice fall breeze.
Oh my gosh. Fall is on the horizon.
Fall is on the horizon.
I cannot wait.
Bring
it's the
your
best time of year.
Bring your sweaters. It's sweater weather. We're going to sip some wine and look at some pumpkins.
Yes,
That's all I
because
got.
in October, that entire month of October is going to be all Harvest Fest, a whole nother list of events. You'll hear all about it in the next episode, though, because there's just too much to go over.
That's all I got.
Such an exciting time.
Go ahead.
Thank you for queuing me up.
You're welcome.
And again, thank you so much for listening to Our Herd, the official Toledo Zoo podcast. We hope you've had a really good time listening to this one. Just to make sure that everybody's aware, this is hosted on 3 different platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And if you'd like to watch this as a video version, we've got all these episodes on YouTube. While you're at it, be sure to follow us on our other platforms. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, where we're posting all kinds of fun, great, engaging, educational content every single day. It keeps us very busy.
We're on TikTok too.
We're on TikTok. Oh my gosh, how could you forget about
He got angry about that one
I
because
got
views
really
are
upset
down.
about that. Yeah, please go watch our TikTok videos because sometimes we post stuff there that we wouldn't really be willing to post anywhere else. So make
TikTok
sure
be
you
a little
follow us on.
silly.
Yeah, we can be a little silly on TikTok. So be sure to follow us there and get some really, really fun content. Okay, I think it's time to get out of here. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.
They're in such high demand, and then they have like drops. And so like my coworker, she's like sitting there waiting for the drop, and it's like Taylor Swift Ticketmaster,
Oh,
where
I know.
you're waiting,
That's-
and it's like
I
this
guess
one's
that's-
gone, that one's gone.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I don't know if I can judge people who wait for Labubu drops
Yeah.
when I wait 3 hours for Taylor to drop another variation of the album.
yeah, and then we buy them.
How many variations is she gonna drop?
I'm expecting
I think it's
another
gonna
one
be
today.
Yeah, I
think
think,
eight
I think
what?
it's going to be 8 total. And she's already dropped 6, not including the normal one.
Oh,
How many of those have you bought?
Of the variations, we've held on to our wallet this time.
how many have you bought?
All of
'Cause-
them.
Are you serious?
You bought
They're-
every variation.
they're-
Right.